and that Canada joins them, and with them rejecting, US would declare war. The battle wouldn't last long, as the US soldiers would be too strong, crushing them fast. Mexico would know they are next, and would declare war first, trying to catch them off guard. However, since United States would have over 3 million soldiers, they would be able to defend, and eventually, make Mexico surrender. With this victory, they would grow too proud, and would make a huge mistake of attacking Russia, even though US soldiers would absolutely dominate against the Russians, but problems would soon begin. People in the US would riot against the draft, as many soldiers would desert from the army. This would lead to massive losses, which would eventually cause the United States to surrender and abolish the draft once again. What if Mexico and Canada united against the US? With both of them declaring war at the same time, United States would be shocked and would immediately send their troops to the border. However, Mexican forces would strike before, as they would be able to take over the entire Texas, as well as New Mexico. US would be furious and would call NATO for help, who would shockingly reject. They would see that something strange is going on, but before they can do anything, Canadians would attack, and they would successfully capture few northern states. United States would have no other choice and would offer Mexico Texas in exchange of pulling their forces back. They would accept, but this would be a trick, as all US forces would quickly swarm Mexico, beating their army and knocking them out from this war. With only Canada left, they would be no match for the Americans, as they would slowly get pushed back and eventually defeated. What if United States and Mexico became a single country? With those two joining their forces, they would become the strongest country in the world by far and would immediately start expanding. They would want to attack Canada, but since NATO would be there to guard them, they would look at the Central America next. United States would declare war on Guatemala, but the rest of Central America would see this and would unite, trying to stop them. They would demand help from NATO, which they would accept, trying to send soldiers and money to them. However, it would already be too late, as Central America would already fall into their hands. Their final target would be Canada, but with NATO sending their entire army, it wouldn't look easy. After a couple of fights, US-Mexican army would absolutely obliterate them, leading to NATO falling back and accepting defeat. What would happen if What if United States and Mexico? What would happen if California never joined? What would the world look like if United States lost the Cold War? What would happen if India became the strongest country in the world? With India becoming the strongest country in the world, first thing they would do is attack Pakistan, wanting to settle their conflict once and for all. Even though Pakistan would fight hard, they would be no match for this India, as they would soon fall into their hands. Since they would have so much power, both United States and Russia would ask them to join their alliance. But it wouldn't be that easy. However, India would have an ongoing dispute with China, and they would demand the entire Kashmir region. The Chinese would be furious and would immediately decline, leading to Indians joining the US side. Next, they would declare war on China, and with